Hi, welcome to Think Human. I'm Chris, and in this video, I want to talk about the potential future outcomes of artificial intelligence. Now, the landscape of people thinking about artificial intelligence and the potential future of AI is very colorful and varied from one extreme to another. There are types of people who believe really negatively. The outlook on the future of AI is really pessimistic, along the lines of the Terminator scenario, and only bad things will come, and it will create a super elite of mega wealthy people, and the rest of humanity will suffer because of whoever controls the AI will be the kings of the new world, or whatever you want to call. Then there are people in the middle, these kind of neutral people, who either think that AI won't have a strong significant impact, or they think that AI will only be created in maybe 100 years, or maybe never. Maybe it's so difficult to create a machine that's of human level intelligence that it might never happen. Those are the type of people who think that either it is really, really, really difficult, or there is something special about the human mind, and we just can't emulate intelligence. And on the other end of this opposite spectrum is this extreme techno-optimists who think that AGI, artificial general intelligence, will be the sort of messiah coming to set us free. It's the last invention mankind must ever make, and if we make it so far as to create this AGI system, then we no longer need to worry about anything else. We will have a kind of universal father figure, intellect beyond all of us, that can take care of us like its children. Kind of poetic way to put it, I guess. And of course, everything in between as well. Now, looking at this landscape of people thinking about so many different ways about the same thing, if we're rational, then we can come to the conclusion that obviously none of these people really know what they're talking about with 100% certainty. Anyone who tells them that they're absolutely sure that they know what the future of AI will be is simply lying or delusional, because we simply do not have enough knowledge about intelligence and the AI systems that we are creating to predict far into the future what the outcomes will be. Not even so far into the future, but just once it does happen, what will actually happen and what the actual impact of humanity will be, that really no one does know. And quite often it's sad to see that otherwise smart people let their own personal biases affect their opinions of what the future of the entire humanity will be. So pessimistic people will say that it will only end badly. Optimistic people will say that it will only have positive consequences, and people who are kind of meh about life, they don't take either kind of view to hold. So I think the reasonable sort of opinion to hold is always somewhere in the middle. Now, paradoxically, in this scenario, the middle is probably the most unlikely thing to happen. From everything that we know about AI and intelligence being one of the most powerful forces in the universe, possibly look what intelligence has done on our own planet. It has transformed our entire planet, and will only increasingly do so as our technology is advancing exponentially. So that the outcome of a super intelligent being will be neutral is incredibly difficult sell to make, at least I think. So it will either be really bad or really good, but it won't be boring and it won't be the same. There will be incredibly strong impacts on our everyday lives to the fundamental nature of what it means to be human, potentially. So AI is separated into two distinct categories today. There is narrow AI and AGI. Narrow AI is the sort of intelligent algorithms that we see all around us. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, your life is touched by hundreds and thousands of narrow AI systems, algorithms, from social media to face recognition to translation systems to banking systems to buying your airplane tickets. There is an AI system that looks at the price, what's the best price for you to give. No matter where you go on the internet, the information technology, it's full of AI, narrow AI algorithms. On the other hand, we have this AGI, artificial general intelligence, and this is the goal of artificial intelligence research. This is truly the end all, the final goal of what we're trying to make. The big, gigantic, enormous companies working on artificial intelligence, this is what all of them want to go to, want to create. They want to create AGI, a machine that has the intellect of a human being. these narrow AIs that the world is filled with, they are narrow, but they are really good at what they're doing. But gradually we begin to see that narrowness not being so narrow, and it getting to be more and more general as there are more and more applications that narrow AIs can do. Maybe you can put a bunch of narrow AIs together to create a general AI. There's a lot of different thoughts of how to actually get to AGI. Some would say to simulate the human brain would be the most safe bet, because we know that the human brain is a physical object working in accord with physical laws of our universe. So if this works and gives rise to intelligence, then there is absolutely no reason why we can't simulate the human mind and simulate it much faster than a normal human mind works. That would give us something called speed intelligence. So intelligence that is exactly the same capacity, but it just works in a way more faster manner. So, you know, for every single minute or second, this speed AI could do maybe months and years worth of thinking. Another thing would be quality AI, and quality AI is a really different thing. Quality AI, the more quality intelligence you have, the more capacity you have to solve problems that just take brute kind of logic and intellect. Like, you could give some puzzle to an ape, and the ape will just lack the quality of intellect to solve a certain type of puzzle. You can give this ape hundreds and thousands of years to solve this problem, but their quality of their intellect just isn't enough to solve the problem. So this is another interesting debate going on: speed versus quality AI. Like, you know, is it better to get 100,000 years worth of thinking with a normal brain, or to get 100 years worth done thinking with like tenfold or 10 orders of magnitude better brain? I would go for the latter. I think quality is more important than speed, because you can have all the speed in the world, but there are certain types of problems you just couldn't solve. And then, you know, one is simulation, then would be learning systems that you just have kind of a toddler or an infant, and if you have a really clever learning algorithm, it can learn just like a child and gather information. There's also something called expert systems, and expert systems are where literally experts have to input some kind of rules into it. Like, you know, if you see this thing, then, you know, turn left. If you see that thing, turn right. And, you know, if you're feeling like this, then do that. And, you know, you need to hard code everything. So for any AGI that we will make, it will not be an expert system, because there are just way too many rules you would need to write down. So, and probably many methods that I couldn't think of, and probably aren't yet invented, ways that we could do this. I like to think of the space of possible minds, so to speak, and we could have sort of the animal kingdom in here, all of the possible different experiences and consciousness and minds in the animal kingdom, and human beings have some smaller part of it, and this is the entire life on earth. But the actual true space of all possible minds is possibly vast, beyond measure. And there is no way for us to know that any intellect we create, where in this possible space of minds it will be. It might be something very strange, it might be something godlike, it might be something just truly bizarre, or it might be something similar to human beings, how we work. But in all likelihood, there are many more ways to be different from human intellect than there is to be like an actual human intellect. So in all likelihood, whatever AI we create, it will be alien to us, and we have to take great care into how we actually align its values. And this is another thing I wanted to speak about: value alignment problem. So in general, people who are pessimistic about the future of AI are kind of ignorant to the actual workings of AI, how AI systems work. AI systems, if there ever is an AI system that reaches human level intelligence, there is nothing inherently in an intelligent system that makes it sort of wake up and, like in the movies, think that, oh, humanity is bad, they're polluting the world and doing bad things, so I should just kill all humanity and make my own sort of choices. No, any AI system we will create is goal-driven, goal-oriented. So we must take great care in what goals we give this AI. A famous example is, make all human beings happy. You say this to an AGI system, a super intelligent machine, make all people happy. And then next day, you see every human being is down in an underground bunker somewhere, hooked up to heroin trips, and everybody's happy. But, then we look back like, no, this is not what we meant. We want to be free and fulfilled and all of that. But for the super intelligent system, it does not care what we mean. And in an ironic kind of funny way, this intelligence would mean it would understand exactly what we meant. It knew that we want to be free and fulfilled and all of that, but it doesn't care because we gave it so broad of a definition of what to do that whatever satisfies our goal, it will do. What's the simplest, easiest, quickest way to make all people happy? It will do it, even if it perfectly understands that actually what we meant wasn't what it will do. So that's a kind of funny thing, I think, at least. Then there is the question of soft versus hard takeoff. So once you get an intelligence that is somewhere around human level, it could really easily look at its own code and software and find improvements, how to make it faster, more fluid. It can also look at its own hardware, how to improve that. And then is the question how quickly from there, since it can look at itself, make itself even better and smarter, then it's better and smarter, then it's better and smarter at making itself better and smarter, and on and on and on. And there is this point of intelligence explosion. And there is debate about whether this would happen in a few minutes, few seconds, few days, or maybe weeks, or might it take years or decades? This is the question. In all likelihood, if it has a lot of resources, which a super intelligent agent would have, it might happen really, really quickly. And there is nothing special about human level intelligence. It would just go right by us. And then we get back to originally what I mentioned is that this would be the last invention that we ever need to make. And that is literally true, because such an intelligence could solve all of the problems that we are facing right now, all our pollution, energy problems, how to get food distributed around the planet, everything that we're facing, this AI could solve, because it will be like us but smarter. So no longer will any human being need to worry its head pretty much for anything, if we let this system do what it wants to do. So really important to define goals, not too broad goals that they can be misinterpreted. Probably the best way to go with this would be to truly have some mechanism by where the super intelligent system truly learns to understand human beings, like what do we actually want, and to appreciate what we actually want. And then there is this other question about morality, since we as human beings look at all other life form on the planet as the more intelligent you have, the more moral value you have, the more your life matters, the smarter you are, the more capacity you have to feel things and think. So once we have a super intelligence that is hundreds or thousands of times smarter than any human being, our moral systems would say that this being is smarter, not smarter, but more important than anyone else on the planet. We can create something akin to a god, and it will indeed have higher moral status than us. There is no way you could argue that a human life would then be more important than the life of this super intelligent agent whose vast experience of emotions dwarfs anything that we could feel or any thoughts that we could think. We would be insects compared to this thing, potentially. So it's a funny question of morality, of what that would mean, and how should we look at this kind of thing. So it's really important, and not enough people are working on it. It's the value alignment problem, how to specify goals, how to make it to truly what we want to do. I'm happy to say that most big companies, all big companies that I know of that are working on creating AGI, they actually want to create the AGI for the benefit of all humankind. So no one wants to create the Terminator. Everybody wants to create something that will make everyone's lives easier, because isn't it, after all, from the first tools that we have created, we wanted more free time for human beings, and this will be the ultimate example of that. Once we create that, it could take care of everything else for us, and no longer need we waste our lives on working jobs we are not passionate about, and all this kind of stuff. So there's some other things that I wanted to cover, but I'm sure we can do that in another video sometime. So these are just some thoughts about artificial intelligence. No one can tell you if the outcome will be good or bad, but it will have a strong impact, that is pretty certain. Exponentially more resources and people are going into the field of artificial intelligence, so that is also interesting to keep in mind, that it's exponentially growing, the field of artificial intelligence, and we will begin to make more and more progress, and indeed we have made breakthroughs that people thought were impossible, and it's incredible to see how fast AI is moving forward. So I hope this was something interesting to you. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments, and of course, thank you so much for watching, and take care.